evening and welcome to another small bite of eCritical. Today I'm going to go through the process of finding a patient that's been previously admitted or who has died. Now, under certain circumstances, you may have not had an opportunity to finish all of the documentation, or you want to go back and review a patient file. One common example is when when a patient dies in the ICU and they get discharged from the ICU, and then you need to go back and complete the death summary. If, say, for example, the patient died while you were at home, and then you come in the morning and you have to finish that death summary. Now, as you can see in this case, in this view of the GPL, there is no the patient isn't that you're going to be looking for, which in this case is the name training 18, is now no longer in the system. So the GPL can't help you. So what you do is you simply just have to close that out and then go looking for the patient. Now, in order to find them, you just select the drop-down menu patient. And then select patient list. Within the patient list selection form, you can see that there are a whole bunch of patients that are in the system that you can select from. The default search is for patients that are pre-admitted, either or admitted to the ICU, released, which in this case means that they've been discharged from the ICU. Now, that patient file can be opened and it can still have edits made to it. So this is where you're going to be commonly looking for patients who have been discharged from the ICU, and before they all of the quality assurance has been completed to ensure that all of the documentation is accurate and complete. And so the patient file will remain in the release status until that is completed, and then when that's done, it'll be moved to the closed file section, where you can always look for the patient and you can review the file, but you can no longer make any edits to it. Let's say in this example that we're going to want to find the patient training the 18 training patient. You can see that he's right there, and in order to open that file, all you have to do is select that patient and just double click him, and then the system retrieves that patient file and displays the all of the patient data as you're usually used to. Next, if we want to look for another patient that may be somewhere else in the system, we're going to go back and open up the patient list, and instead of scrolling through this long list of all of these test patients that are in the system, we're going to actually search using the criteria. So the criteria we're going to use today is the MRN, and the patient we're going to look for, we're just going to enter in as say train 48 and see if we can find them. Oh, and when we hit the search button, there he is. And it gives you a little bit more information about the patient as well. In this case, the patient's status is admitted, which means they're in the system, and technically they're actually admitted in the ICU somewhere. This test environment, though, doesn't have any other patients that are in any of the other statuses. So if we were to unselect the pre-admit and the admitted patients and just search for patients that are released, we'll see that that patient disappears, and then even if we delete the search parameter and just search for it, there's nothing in there. And that's because there are no patients in this test environment that are in release status, which again are patients that are discharged from the ICU, but the file has not been closed yet because some quality assurance stuff needs to be done, such as the death certificate, death form, or the any of the daily GCSs or admission forms. Now, so in order to find that patient again that we just looked for, I'm going to select the admitted, look only for admitted patients. Click the search button, and there he is. To open the file, just double click on it, and the patient's file is open for us to review, or if we need to finish the death summary. And that's about all there is to it. This is how you fill out the find a patient in the system if they're not visible in the GPL, and especially if you need to go back and find either look up information on a patient who's been discharged, or if you want to complete any documentation. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next video.